Okay. It is July 22nd, 2026. My name is Chris Campbell. I am a day trader, and these are my vlogs, essentially, of my daily journal of my spiritual process and trying to discover more about myself and about my own capabilities through understanding how consciousness works and uh, just what I believe in, spiritually speaking, to help guide my life in the right direction and achieve the correct trajectory um, for my own success. And I want to lead myself in an appropriate manner. And I think there's a lot of different frameworks out there. So I'm trying different things and I'm discovering what's working and what's not. And I think I've come across something that's pretty good. And I just want to start journaling this process. And so that's what I'm going to do. This is video one. I haven't decided what I'm going to call it yet. I might do like Chronicles or something cool like that. I don't know. But this is the first one. This is the first video. And yeah, I just want to go ahead and dive right in and just start talking to the camera every single day. Even if it's just for myself, I'll make these videos unlisted for now, but even if it's just for myself in the future, I just want to journal this entire process and try to refer back if I ever need to. And then if I can share these out one day to the world, once things have gone in the direction that I would like them to go in, then these could be good instructional videos on where I started and how I got to where I am in the future. So it's unfortunate because I didn't do this sooner, so I'm kind of starting in the middle of this entire process that I've been going through, but I'll give you the short of it. Essentially, I have been doing the hemisync tapes from the Monroe Institute. They were released from the Stargate project, which was a project that was led by the CIA to discover more about remote viewing and what people had, naturally speaking, as far as psychic abilities and things like that go. So I found that pretty interesting, and I thought it would be a cool path to go down and just try and see what I can discover about myself, even if nothing happened. But some things have happened, and maybe I will get into that later on if I see it's appropriate for whatever journal I'm doing for the day. So essentially my process has been to do one of the tapes inside of the Google Drive file that I obtained from a friend. I'll go do one of those tapes. I'll go into my room. I'll make sure the area is secure because that's always in the back of my mind. Closing my eyes and being distracted, just in case something crazy ever happened. I go into my room, I lock my door, I lay my blanket on the floor, and then I get a little couch pillow that I held onto for a little bit, and I'll lay it down on the blanket, and then I'll put my my eye mask on, like for sleeping, my sleeping mask, and then I'll put my headset on, my headphones. They cancel out the noise pretty good, and that helps keep me focused in on what I'm trying to achieve with the tapes, which is just discovering more about my own consciousness and what my capabilities are as an individual, and connecting with the divine as well. So I'll go do that, and that's about 30 to 40 minutes, and then I'll get done with that, and I'll go straight from that to reading my frequency journal, this book here called The Frequency Effect. Granted, I think most of this was AI assisted as far as the writing goes. I do think that the knowledge in here is fairly accurate, and here's why. Because I've also read this book, Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza. Incredible book. I love this book. It has a lot of great information in it about our abilities as conscious beings, and it breaks it down not only spiritually but scientifically as well. So it takes all of these spiritual aspects that and methods that you find in the Bible, prayer, for example, not just the Bible, but other religious texts too, prayer, meditation, those types of things. It breaks those things down scientifically and tells you why you essentially manifest whatever you pray about or meditate on. And it just breaks those things down scientifically so that you can understand the framework and really take advantage of it in your life and build whatever life you want to build. So going back to my process, like I said, I go do a tape. 30 to 40 minutes is how long the tapes usually last. I'll come out of my room. I'll come out. I'll do literally 2. So I'll do 2 pages of my the Frequency Effect journal, and then I'll go through 2 pages. I'll highlight. I'll journal. I'll write down whatever I want to write down, and then when I get done, I'll lay it on my desk, and I'll put my hands on it like this, and I'll kind of just close my eyes and try to connect the dots in the best way I can between my meditation and my frequency journal. And that's kind of where the framework started. There's other things being integrated now. I'm actually working through, not that I'm a full subscriber if I'm being honest, but something is calling me to read my Bible too. I don't know what it is, but it's my internal voice that I've always listened to. And when I listen to this internal voice, it typically goes in my favor, whatever that means. And my internal voice told me this time to read my Bible. This is the same internal voice, by the way, that led me to a lot of great things. It led me to my current career path, which is trading. It led me to my best friend, who I consider my brother, TJ. Led me to him. And it's just led me in the right direction a lot of times. And that voice, that same voice, has been telling me, hey, like, do some discovery work here and try to see what we can see in the Bible and just what's going on in here, to put it very lightly. But I've been going through John. I just finished John chapter 7 today, and so I'm 7 chapters in right now. But this is rather new. This frequency journal and meditation type of thing has been going on for close to a month and a half now, maybe 2 months, and it's been going amazing. But like I said, I just have a lot of different thoughts whenever I finish my meditation and I come out and I do my frequency journal, and I don't want to sit here and write for hours on end because I have a lot of thoughts in my head and I want to get them out. Not only that, but I want to convey that to other people potentially, and maybe release these videos if I see fit. I just think there's a lot of value in connecting with the divine and then sharing it with other people, and I think that's exactly what I'm doing right now. I don't know if it started off, it really did not start off purposefully that way. It was not my intention to go in and connect with God and the divine every single day, but that is what it's turned into. I'm happy to say, I'm happy to report that, because the meditations have done so many things for me, these tapes. Remote viewing and all these psychic abilities, it's like, oh wow, that's cool, whatever. But honestly, what's very interesting to me is how it's helped me mitigate my emotional state when it's I want to say that better. It's helped me maintain a positive emotional state, and it's helped me keep a level head. That's what I'll say. It's helped me keep a level head, and I've had a lot of anger issues in the past. I've had a lot of mental issues with my anxiety, a lot of just doubtful thoughts, which can also lead to, depression and stuff like that. And no longer do I feel those things as much anymore. My window where those things are happening, where I'm feeling those emotional states and I'm feeling that low frequency state, that window has closed. It closes a lot quicker than it used to. And I'm very happy to report that, because it was quite frankly destroying me, and staying in those staying in those low frequency states was destroying my life and not allowing me to create what I wanted to create. And since I'm reading this book, or this journal, Frequency Effect journal book thing, I'm connecting the dots between this, the tapes, and becoming supernatural. There's a lot of interesting things happening that are congruent between all three. So, like, for example, there is the resonant frequency balloon. And essentially what this is it's your electromagnetic field. It sprouts from the top of your head, your crown, and it's all encompassing. It stretches around your body and comes back in through the bottom of your feet. This is called the electromagnetic field in the frequency effect. It's called the resonant energy balloon in the tapes that I do in my room back there. Joe Dispenza talks about it in his book. He also calls it the electromagnetic field. So I imagine that the resonant frequency balloon is what they call it in the tapes, just so that you can imagine yourself being engulfed in a balloon, essentially, to imagine and get an image of what this looks like so that you can really feel it around you. And I think that I'm putting the pieces together, and it's just crazy how all this stuff is coming full circle. And like I said, I'm just honestly really excited to talk about it. So that's my little intro, sort of. Intro, catch-up video on everything going on. So let me start with this. I'll start my little 5-minute journal that I'm going to do every day, 5 to 10 minute journal, by saying that it is July 22nd, 2026. I took a trade today. I lost. I did not feel good. It was a very, very, very bad feeling. It's been close to a week that I've been off the charts. Well, Friday I was on the charts. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So 4 days. I was off the charts for 4 days. I got on yesterday for a little bit, then got on today. I lost the trade, and I felt left behind. I felt left behind, and I felt like I just let myself down, because I just passed this account, and I just felt like I let myself down, and I got really upset about it. I just took a bad trade, and I went and I meditated, and I felt a lot better. I did the color breathing today, which essentially is a meditation that helps you develop the skill of skill set of imagining a color and breathing in a pattern, and then executing upon that and making something happen. So I'll give you an example. It said, breathe deeply, release your breath, and imagine the color green. And imagine you're inhaling fresh energy. So it's essentially a rejuvenating breath almost. Then it went into the color purple. Breathe in deeply, release, while you say in your mind, heal, and then another word. I can't remember what it was. I'll have to do the meditation again. Heal, another word, and focus on an area of your body that you want to heal or that you want to provide some kind of assistance towards. So I did that. My stomach was hurting during the meditation a little bit, so I did that, and placebo or not, it did work. And you could argue that all of this is the placebo, but placebo is part of manifestation, so fair enough, right? So I did that, and it worked, and it was cool. And then it said there, the color red, and the color red is supposed to help you execute on a physical activity to the best of your ability. So if you're going to sprint, you're going to sprint really hard, and you're going to breathe in deeply. Imagine the color red, and then imagine the task that you're doing and breathe out, or that you're about to do, and then breathe out. And this is supposed to help you, like I said, execute on whatever physical task that you're about to perform in a heightened state after you do this breath. And those were the three that I remembered. There could be another one in there, but I was kind of in and out. I was what they call clicking out, which is kind of where you zone out and you feel so relaxed that you almost fall asleep a little bit. So I did the color breathing today, then I came out and I did chapter 7, magnified emotion. So that chapter right there, hopefully that's visible on the camera. I don't expect you to see all the words and everything, but essentially what I took from this is, I'll just write down some notes I took. Consistency makes it easy to hold a high frequency. So it's even better to not think about goals at a low frequency. What do I mean by this? Consistency makes it easier to hold a high frequency because being consistent in regulating your anger issues or your depressed emotional states whenever you feel that, your anxious emotional states whenever you feel that, your low frequency states, being consistent in regulating those helps you build up the framework that you need to go ahead and manifest and materialize the things in the world that you want to. So basically what this is saying is when you operate at a high frequency emotional state, you create a new baseline for yourself and you influence your consciousness to head towards that baseline every day, and you can't create anything at a low frequency state. So if you make it easy on yourself essentially to maintain a high frequency state of mind, you have a lot better of a chance and opportunity to create the life that you want to create and bring it into the material. Okay, versus if you're at a low frequency state and you're not regulating any of those bad habits that bring down your frequency. I'll give a small example. Drinking water and staying hydrated, right? You're more likely to get irritated and bring down your frequency if you're dehydrated. If you haven't had a good night's rest, if you haven't had good sleep, you're more likely to bring down your frequency and your emotional state, which is not going to allow you to bring into the material the things that you want to. Another note I put, it's a simple system really. Be consistent in your high frequency states by maintaining good habits that build confidence. This keeps you calm. One thing that has always been a vice of mine has been sexual activity. As every young man, I'm sure, deals with, young woman even too. But that has always been something that I felt very ashamed of indulging in. And when I let that stuff go about 2 months ago or so, somewhere in there, 2 months ago, month and a half, whatever it was, that's not me anymore. And I gained a lot of confidence from that. And that has helped me keep a calm state of mind, which has allowed me to maintain some habits that I want to maintain in order to build the life that I want to build. And that's kind of the beautiful part about this is our power lies within us conquering our vices. Our power is literally within our vices. If we succumb to our vices, we don't have power. And you can literally grab and gain as much power as you want to infuse that into areas of your life that you want to improve by mitigating how often you indulge in your vices and then eventually destroying them completely. And that is what I've achieved. I am no longer the individual that indulges in the vices that I used to indulge in. Now, am I improving every day? Yes, but there are some things that I just do not do anymore by any means whatsoever. And that is for a very specific reason. It's because I want to maintain a high frequency. And it's because I want to protect my frequency with my life so that I can really bring into the material what I want to bring into the material. And so that I can connect to God more as well. It's helped me connect to the divine and to my spiritual path more than I ever have before. So that's a beautiful thing. Putting down your vices and seeing the power that comes from that. Another note. Essentially, you have whatever structure you want, and emotion powers that structure and gives it life. You can't have one without the other. You need proper thought to power up, and if you have proper thought but bad emotion, then it doesn't get the power it needs to materialize, right? So thought creates structure, emotion powers it, and when both are aligned consistently, the field changes, okay? So basically what I'm saying here is that you can have whatever thoughts you want. You can say, "Hey, I'm gonna be rich. I'm gonna be poor. Um, I'm gonna own a boat. I'm gonna own a house. I'm gonna get a girlfriend. I'm gonna get a boyfriend. If you're a lady out there, whatever it is, whatever you want to bring into the material, whatever you want to materialize yourself, right? You can have whatever framework you want. It's sort of like framing a house. But the electrical system, aka your emotional state, is what powers it. So higher frequency emotions give more power to the home, to the structure, to your thoughts. Lower frequency states, emotional states, give it lower power. And you're not able to materialize at the level that you would be able to if you were at a higher frequency state, emotional state. Like gratitude. Or there's genuinely a chart to this, and I'm going to grab it right now because it's right behind us. Hold on. So there's a consciousness level map. This is what I'm saying. All these things align, and it's actually crazy because if you're somebody who recognizes patterns really well, and I do, which is why I gravitate towards trading. I've always recognized patterns really well and adapted towards them. That's why I gravitate towards trading. That's why I love trading. All these things are aligning though, and it's all a pattern. And that's why I'm putting it together so that I can live my life the right way. But anyway, this is the map of consciousness levels. High to low frequency emotional states. And this is basically telling you enlightenment you have up here, which is a high frequency emotional state. It actually gives you the frequencies too, levels, right? So peace, joy, love, reason, acceptance, willingness, neutrality, courage, pride, anger, desire, fear, grief, apathy, guilt, and shame. And going back to my vices and everything, a lot of times what I was feeling was this state of shame, right? And then fear, and then desire, and then anger and pride, and I would kind of just indulge in my vices. I'd be knocked all the way down to shame, not being able to create the life that I want to create. I had these thoughts. I had these thoughts that I wanted to be financially free, that I wanted to take care of my family, that I wanted to do these things, all these different things. But I was indulging in my vices, which was knocking down my frequency, my emotional state. And that's why it was low power. I was basically on low power mode. How are you supposed to achieve anything on low power mode with a low frequency state, right? Emotional state. I keep saying state. It's emotional state. But yeah, so ever since I put down my vices, I maintain a higher frequency a lot easier now, which is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing seeing that map, recognizing what I need to do. You know, you just recognize what emotion you're feeling, pinpoint yourself on the map, on the consciousness map, and then do something that's going to put you in a different state of mind at a different frequency, and then go from there. Main message for today, though, July 22nd, 2026, for my chronicle, or whatever I'm going to call it. I need to remember that my baseline is built off of what I most often feel. And I need to properly maintain a high frequency emotional state in order to bring my baseline up. Because my nervous system has been wrecked for years with states of depression, states of anxiety, states of guilt, shame, grief, fear, all these different things. And now I have to build that back up. Whether it be my fault, whether it be somebody else's fault, doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter. I could argue that my childhood was bad and that's what ruined me, or whatever the fuck. But that doesn't matter. What matters is what I do with it now. And what I'm going to do with my life now is maintain a high frequency emotional state. I've put down my vices. I'm no longer that guy. I don't identify with any of those things anymore, and I've gained that power back essentially immediately because I've decided to make that change, and I'm never going back. I'm never going back. And I was so tired of myself before that I couldn't even bring anything that I wanted to into the material realm because I was just at a low frequency state of mind all the time, man. And it just sucked. And I feel a lot better. Like I said, my window closes a lot faster for anger and all these different things that I feel. I don't rip out anymore in high energy or low energy, you know. I'm noticing myself maintaining a neutrality that I didn't have before. And I'm really happy about that. Main message for today, though, is that I like this a lot. Thought creates structure, emotion powers it, and when both are aligned consistently, the field changes. Consistently. That's the big word, consistently. I need to consistently maintain my negative emotional states because everybody's got them. Everybody's going to have them. Nobody's perfect. I need to properly regulate those and try my absolute best to maintain a high frequency emotional state so that my power goes up. And then I need to work on my framework at the same time and have the proper visualization of what I want my life to look like and be.